Hey guys, Foxdrop here, welcome back to another Spectate gameplay. Today we are spectating Clid, the rank 1 player in Korea, who's also a jungler for a professional team in China. Now I wanted to do this spectator because Clid has been, not only has he achieved rank 1 in Korea, he's been doing it quite an interesting way. He's been playing a lot of Rengar, and Rengar is a champion who was really OP at the beginning of the season, if you remember, but really is like fallen off. No one really plays him anymore. Statistically, he's not very popular. He's not even got a very high win rate. But this guy makes it work. He's got almost 70% win rate. He kind of fluctuates between low 70%, high 60%. So very good Rengar player, and hopefully today we can watch him break down what he does and learn how to play Rengar like this guy, so that if you want to take it into your solo queue games, you can do so, because I would recommend to do that. Rengar's a very good solo queue stomper, and now would be a good time to pick him up because no one really plays him. He's not popular, so you'll be able to get him and play him quite a lot. So first thing to talk about, this level 1 invade. The reason why this level 1 invade, the blue team's doing this, mostly is because their level 1 is stronger across the board. Karthus is stronger than Fizz, Rengar stronger than Elise, and Rumble, excuse me, stronger than Galio. So they scout out the Elise where she's starting, and then they invade her and screw her over. Now I wouldn't necessarily recommend that you do a play like this in your solo queue games, because this requires a bit of coordination and it's probably not going to work. You can just start at one of your buff camps and it's all good. But you can see here, a bit of coordination, you can do some sexy stuff. However, having said that, what we should focus on here is what's going to happen now. If you're Elise and you get cheese like this, what you should do is run to the enemy's red buff. I'm not sure if that's what she's going to do or not, but that's what she should do, because you know that's the buff that you have the highest chance of taking. Because why can we see one of these team frames, not the other one? Interesting. You know that, if Rengar's on your red, you run to his red, it's the furthest buff away from him, so least likely to come for him to be able to reach there and like counter you, However, having said that, Rengar knows this as well, right? Which is why he's running here, but he stopped for a while in mid. So yeah, he stopped for a while in mid to kind of see if he could help kill Fizz. So he's not even going to get his red buff. So that's like, this is a nice response from the Elise here, so that she can still get something out of that cheese. So ultimately she loses her flash, some chicken experience as well. So it's still pretty painful for her. But it's not the end of the world. Like, if she didn't get that red buff, then she'd only be getting access to one buff as well. And so that's a really nice opportunity to play from the Elise's perspective, which something, if you get cheese like that, if someone invades one of your buffs, do like a diagonal invade, if that makes sense, to take their, if they go for your red, take their red, if they go for your blue, take their blue, something like that. Now, let's talk a little bit about the runes and masteries for Clid here. On his Rengar, he runs a really simple rune page, which is what I love to see. A lot of Koreans run something really complicated, but this is a rune page which is very basic. 80 reds, 80 quints, armor yellows, magic resist blues. Pretty much as basic as you can get, legit. And also for his masteries, he goes 12-18 with Thunderlords. Now I'm really interested to see how Clid plays the early game, because that is Rengar's, that's the difficulty about playing Rengar, is he's strong in the early game, he's good at fighting in the early game, but he's not good at ganking in the early game. So we can see we've got some vision here, and we're going to be setting up the counter gank between, against the Elise, but this is he showed out, I don't know why Clid showed out the bush. He could have just sat in this bush and baited the rumble. However, Elise has no flash, so if they want to go for an aggressive play, she won't be able to run away. So here we go. They're going in for the aggressive play so far. Not too bad. Goes down, but they should be able to pick up the counter kill there. There we go. A little bit of miscommunication there. But not executed amazingly. Probably could have baited a little bit harder there, but all in all, could be worse. Now, like I say, this is... Oh my goodness. The epic outplay is... Holy shit, wait. I need to see that again. I need to see that again. Okay. So, Rumble's already on 0 health from the tower. He actually flashes Galio's E. God damn. Well, this is Korean Challenger after all. Anyway, Rengar is a champion who is strong in the early game, but doesn't have particularly good ganks, because he doesn't... the only gank closer he has is coming out of a bush, so someone kind of has to face check you and all that lovely business, but still. Alright, nice aggressive play coming out from the Thresh here. Grabs the Caitlyn. Under tower, but no tower shots going down. Not sure anything's going to happen here. Got to be careful on this one. I think he's okay here. Cast Assault should pick up the Caitlyn as well. Beautiful stuff. And the counter TP from Rumble. That's going to be... That's it. That's out of there right there. Straight off the bat right here. That's not what you want to see. If you're the red team here, that's not what you want to see. So first items, he's gone for the double longsword, guys. Double longsword is what we want to pick up first. On Rengar, he does the same build every single game where he goes Warrior Enchant into Black Cleaver. After that, it kind of depends, but he'll always do that to begin with. Is it just me or is this game really loud right now? I don't know if the game's really loud. It's probably just me, but I'm going to turn it down. I'm going to turn it down. You don't need to hear the game sounds anyway. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, level 6 at 7 minutes as well is pretty much what you want to get done as Rengar. But I think what's interesting to note about this guy's pathing and what he's decided to do, what he's done here, is he hasn't really done anything. Like he hasn't just sat in his jungle and farmed, you know. So he does have the benefit of actually making plays this game, but he's not forced plays. If you've seen, every single play he's made has been like a reaction to something happening on a different side of the map. So waiting for the Elise for the counter gank top lane, or defending a tower. Those are the plays that he's made this game. A bit of an aggressive one here though from the Elise, which is going to cost him his red buff. Quite possibly costing the red buff while the Galio is around. No, it is going to cost him the red buff. Really? Alright, they're going for the dive, boys. Level 7 on both Rumble and Rengar, and only level 5 on Galio. Rumble goes down, and probably so does Rengar. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and say that probably was not worth it. Probably was not worth it. But he gets his Warrior Enchant and another longsword, so I think he's, all in all, not too sad about that one. Alright, let's see what happens down here. Big fight happening in the bottom side jungle. These kind of brawls happen so much in Korean solo queue. It's beautiful. It's proper solo queue right here. This is what's really nice though. If you have like these strong lanes, specifically the strong fighting lanes, these are the kind of plays you want to make. Like I think we can learn a lot from what Elise is doing this game as well, because she's making plays around the strong side of her jungle. So specifically when she tried to invade this top side, she got punished for it because like no one could help her. But when she invades the bot side, she has Fizz and she has the Caitlyn lane to help her as well. And because this Caitlyn lane is obviously winning because it's a Caitlyn lane, suddenly when the collapse comes in, it's her bot lane that's able to fight. So therefore she can win those invades. And because Fizz is Fizz and is very good at this stage of the game, very good in these small skirmishes, Carson needs a bit more time to scale up. He can make the play around the Fizz. Anyway, heavy invading here. Knows Elise is on the bot side of the jungle because she just took the dragon. So going for the aggressive play. Oh, that was a cheeky taunt at the end there. Going for the aggressive play. Gets a little bit caught with his pants down, but still going to be a kill trade here. Not too big of a deal, honestly, overall. Could be worse. A little bit of feeding in this early game here, though. A little bit of feeding. Can't help but feel like he should be playing a little bit more passive here because he's going a little bit crazy. However, having said that, what's really important to note, in solo queue, you're going to have games where you fall behind. And if you do fall behind, you're going to need to know, or, you know, where your feet or whatever, you need to know how to come back from these games. You know, you need to know what you should be doing in the mid game. Like, that's really what we want to focus on. We don't just want to focus on the early game stomp. We want to focus on the mid game, what we can do in those situations, because Rengar is a bit of a tricky champion to play. Like in general, I would say, just because of the playstyle, you never really know what you're meant to do. So we're just going to skip forward here because he's probably just going to go for his Krugs. Just some like really minor things to note. He's using his empowered Q pretty much all the time when he's clearing, and even when he's fighting, he uses empowered Q. But going for a cheeky lane gank here. Now they see the Elise right here. So there is a chance that Elise will actually go down to this bot lane to try and make a play. Because it's quite an easy lane to gank. I mean, they're not particularly healthy. The summoners could quite well be down as well. And it's a stronger lane in the 2v2. So it could quite easily be a lane that this Caitlyn wants to gank. So, sorry, this Elise wants to gank. So they have to think about that. So here we go. Rakan engages with his ultimate, immediately turning and jumping in onto the Caitlyn. Now that's obviously the priority target, but you're just gonna die. Not sure why they stayed on that one. Questionable. Clid is inting this game. You're rank 1 in Korea and you're inting. The rank 1 Korean player is genuinely an inter. Filthy inter. But He's not rank 1 for no reason. Poor Elise getting a little bit destroyed this game though. Alright, taking away the red buff for the 3rd time in a row and then playing around this top side again because this top laner, this Rumble, is actually the winning lane. So play around the winning lane. You saw what happened when he went bot lane. If you play around the weak lanes, you see what happens, right? You lose. Because they're not strong enough. Like, if this bot lane was the stronger bot lane, was winning the 2v2, if Lucian Thresh was winning the 2v2, you could guarantee that if Elise shows up and Rengar's there as well, that they win that. Like, Rengar doesn't die there. But if you play around the weaker lanes, this is what happens. If you get counter ganked, things go poorly. You've always got to be careful about that shit. So instead, trying to play around the stronger lanes, generally speaking, is a recipe for more success. Anyway, don't want to leave your jungle doing... Oops, I'm skipping forward too much here. Don't want to leave your jungle just sitting there doing nothing. So picking that up in between your movements here. But now a play is about to start. A perfect and too aggressive initiation from Rakan here. But with Rumble being in the position that he's in, the red carpet's going to come down here. There it is. Initiating with the Rengar as well here. Just jumping on the MVP. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. That is something though, like, you should definitely pay attention to how he didn't start that fight. He let Rumble start that fight. Because if you start fights from Rengar, one of two things is going to happen. One, they're going to want to run away from you because they know that you're initiating. And two, you jump in, they're going to turn on you and just instantly kill you unless you're really tanky. So initiating fights from Rengar often is really, really risky and not something that you want to do. So instead, wait for someone else to go in first and then you can go in after that. You don't want to be the primary engage. It's quite similar to Nocturne, right? Except even worse because, yeah. Cheeky face checks here. You can't face check if there's a Rengar in the map. You can't do it because this is what happens. If someone face checks Rengar, they're donezo. Just flat out donezo. Right, this guy's dead as well. Transitioning into the objectives whenever you get kills, guys. If you recall, that's bad. You want to use the advantage that you've been given. The fact that no one's on the map. Go ahead and rotate to a tower, to a dragon, something along those lines, maybe an invade, whatever it may be. It doesn't necessarily matter what it is that you do, but you want to do something while the enemy team isn't around, while they're not on the map. Skip forward here, go for the Krugs. He's probably going to recall after this. There we go. Just got enough gold for his Black Cleaver and tier 2 boots. Go for the chickens. Chicken camp on Rengar takes like 2 seconds, so it's like just take that every time it's up basically. But are they going for the... Alright, he's popped his ult really early here for the vision. So they see Caitlyn. Let me just go ahead and pause this one. So we can... Oh, they actually ran away. Okay. I was going to say, pause. I thought a fight was going to happen. Never mind. I wanted to see like his target priority when he jumps in. Dragon's the next obvious one here. They've just secured the Rift Herald. Go for the dragon afterwards. There we go. Alright. His ultimate should be up kind of soon here. He's got 30% CDR, so his ultimate doesn't really last. Doesn't have much of a cooldown. Especially when you're level 11 with rank 2 ulti. So he should be up relatively soon here. 2 control wards he's just picked up, guys. 2 control wards. As a jungler, vision control is quite important. So sweeper, control wards really help you to make these plays. Now, are they going for the early Baron? Maybe that's what they're doing here. Chucks the control ward in the Baron pit here. Of course, he's got seekers, trackers as well. So this guy's a vision control machine. But this is what's really cool here is that if you control ward the Baron, the enemy team has to face check you. They have a pretty good Baron team as well because Karthus spams Q and has his E up as well. Rumble does a lot of damage to it too. So a pretty good team for taking Baron here. So let's go ahead. We're going to pause here and we're going to break down how he should be playing this Baron fight, right? Because Baron plays, guys, in solo queues, especially in your solo queue games. This is where games are like made or broken. Because if you fuck this up, that's a massive throw, right? I mean, how far ahead? Blue team is only ahead by 3,000, 2,500 gold. It's not as big a lead as it seems, right? So if you fail this, you're donezo. Right, so let's take a look at it right here. So first things first, your end goal here is to secure Baron. That's the first thing you want to focus on. So when you're judging what you should be doing, if the answer is this isn't going to give me the best chance to secure Baron, that's not something you should be doing. Now, it's quite easy in this situation because obviously they're all just in the pit, so you just stay on the Baron. And at this point, you can't, like, stop bursting Baron. If this Baron was on, like, maybe 5,000 health, the optimal strategy would be to stop damaging Baron and instead turn on the people that have jumped in the pit so you can kill them, because then you have the highest chance of securing the Baron when they're dead, obviously. But when it's on 1,300 health, there's no point, because the enemy team can burst it from that while they're in the pit and then get a good look in it. So if you're Rengar, you've got to focus onto the Baron, and also as like a small mechanical point, you're going to want to combo your ability with your smite so that your smite essentially kind of does more damage, right? Because if you use Q in Rengar's case at the same time as you use smite, it sort of enhances your smite damage because you're like getting two forms of damage coming in at the same time, therefore giving you like a higher burst, if that makes sense. Same for Elisa, obviously, with her spider form Q. Now, this is just a desperation attempt from the red team to steal the Baron. They're not really in a position to win the team fight. Fizz has sharked over the wall here, but, you know, good positioning from the blue team to not let Fizz jump into this play for free. If Fizz wants to get into this pit, yes, he can E over the wall, but then he's completely lost that damage for the fight, and he's significantly weaker in his fighting. So, good positioning here from the blue team to move away from the side of the wall where the enemy team is. And basically, Caitlyn's too far away to be able to get too much in here. So this is just going to come down to the smite still, essentially. Nothing else going on here. So we're going to go ahead and unpause. Here we go. There it is. The attempt at the smite still fails, turning in onto the red team and the people who have gone in. But you can see as well, like you can see the positioning here. Fizz is in this bush right now. Like we can see Fizz here. Fizz is in this bush. But he's had to run around here, and now he's taking so long to get into this fight. Essentially, 2 members of his team are already dead just because he couldn't get in. The jungler's died, the support's about to die as well. And same for Caitlyn, she can't get in either. So it's like a perfect, you know, just like perfect positioning from the blue team to kind of force this play. Whoops, there we go. So here we go, finishing off the support here. Galio has done his heroic entrance. But honestly, without too much follow-up, it's going to be a little bit difficult. So I'm just going to pause one last time here for this fight, because this is kind of like the last portion of the fight that you need to execute. And this is when Rengar's actually starting to do Rengar things here, right? So right now, the priority, depending on who's fed on your team, the priority changes. If Lucian was like 10-0 this game, you'd want to sit on Lucian, protect him from Fizz. But because Lucian is actually 0-3 with 130 CS, it doesn't matter if Lucian dies. He's not your win condition. He's not what's going to let you win this game. He's not going to be the one to win you this team fight. In fact, the Rumble, who is 8-1-7, and Karthus is just Karthus, those are the 2 people really who are going to win you the fight. And also you got to look from the enemy team's perspective. Who is it from the enemy team that's going to win them the fight? Therefore, who do you focus? Now, we've already established Lucian isn't that important, so that's why no one's even trying to pill for this guy. They're just letting Fizz do what he wants to Lucian, because it doesn't matter. And instead, Rengar's popped his ultimate. Now, the only reason you would pop your ultimate in this situation, well, the biggest reason is so you can jump on someone. Now, whether or not he jumps onto the Caitlyn or the Galio depends on whether he wants to play it safe or whether he wants to just go hard. If he jumps on the Caitlyn, the good thing about doing that is that she's standing in a bush. So if he jumps on Caitlyn, he can follow up, so that even if Caitlyn runs away from him, he can follow up and still chase her down because she'll be standing in bushes. However, having said that, he's really low. Chances are he won't be able to 1v1 the Caitlyn. So he can play it safe, just jump on Galio, help his team finish off the Galio, and then his team can all like rotate to either killing Fizz or going for the Caitlyn. Probably Caitlyn, because Fizz is a little slippery. But that, you know, this just depends. You know, do you want to go for the safe play and go for the Galio, or go for the risky play and go for Caitlyn? If the situation was slightly different here and Rengar was like on higher health, maybe Caitlyn was a bit weaker, then going on Caitlyn will probably just be the optimal play. But we'll see here. So he pops his ultimate, instead deciding to turn on the Fizz, not the Galio or the Caitlyn, and actually goes for him. So all of my time spent breaking that down, he went for the one person I didn't even consider he might go for. To be fair, I think he was looking at Caitlyn and then was like, actually, that guy, she's going to kill me, and then turns on Fizz. But yeah, I mean, when you're playing Rengar, you have a lot of damage. I mean, we saw Fizz is on full health there. Rengar turns on him and he's dead. So yeah, not too scary in that situation. Be careful, Rengar, mate. Here comes the Fizz TP, you're donezo. Rest in pepperonis. God, Rift Herald's going to do work in this top lane here. Garthers is 100% dedicated to this play as well. He's dead. See if he can bring down Caitlyn with him. Is he going to use his ultimate? Oh, his ulti's on cooldown, actually. Okay, fair enough. Alright, good shit. They got the Baron, though. That's all good. Rumble split pushing. There's our friend Rengar up. He's going for the Hex Drink of this game. After the Black Cleaver, Clear seems to go for either Moorman Mortius or Guardian Angel. Sometimes Yumu's, if he's really, really far ahead in the early game, he'll go for Yumu's. But he's also not shy about building tank on Rengar as well. But he'll always go for the Black Cleaver second, like every single game. Warrior Enchant, Black Cleaver. But he has done like Spirit Visage, Dead Man's Plate, those kind of things as well. So at this point in the game, you got Baron, you want to group up with your team, try and take down those towers. It's a little bit hard to push a tower with Caitlyn around, but it should still be possible against Baron minions. I guess Galio as well is very good at wave clearing too. So going for the pick here, but honestly, when you got Baron, playing the objective game is a little bit better, but this is... like, red team isn't going to get anything out of this. You know, this is a... like, they're just fighting 3v5, so... I mean, it's solo queue. This is genuinely the highest rank Korean game that you're going to see. Literally. Because this guy is rank 1. Can't get any higher than this. And look at these mistakes being made here. Look at it. Like, this is so many just mistakes that are just easy to capitalize on. Because it's solo queue, you know? And if you're playing your solo queue games and you don't know how to carry, or you think that your teammates suck, it's like, well, it's not just your teammates. Everyone makes mistakes, you know, and carrying in solo queue is all about being able to capitalize on your enemy's mistakes more than your enemies can capitalize on your allies' mistakes. There's always mistakes for you to pay attention to. Alright. Now, what I'm interested to see is at this stage of the game, where it's moderately late game, kind of mid to late game here, is whether Rengar plays like a split pushing game at all, and goes for like the 1v1 like assassinations and stuff, or whether he focuses more on just grouping up and that kind of thing. So at this point, when he's got two teammates in spawn, it's easy for him to just go and farm his jungle, so that's cool. But right now he's choosing to group up. His Rumble is actually quite an efficient split pusher. He's so far ahead that he can just split push pretty much 24/7 and no one can really match him. So I guess to that extent he doesn't need to split push either. But at this point he's really, you know, we can see he's just sitting with his team. So if in doubt, sit with your team. I mean, they're a stronger team comp as well. It will probably change if his team was actually weaker, like they didn't want the team fight, for example. But you can see this position here, they're looking for the engage. But what's really important to take note of is who initiates the fight. Who is the one who engages? Because it probably won't be Rengar. But then again, this wouldn't be the first time I've said something that turns out to be completely wrong. But if Rengar jumps in first, that's going to be kind of risky, because the enemy team is going to be alert to it, and they'll run away, and he'll probably just die. Baron's up again. Baron Dance V2. Fizz is bot lane, but I'm pretty sure he has teleport. Here he goes. He's TPing in. So again, we'll just quickly pause this one. I won't bore you as much as I did the last time. But again, this time, when the Baron's on like this much health, like 4.5k, it's quite a lot of health. Now you can turn, right? Because it's not really low that you have to just immediately secure it, right? So now would be a good time to turn. And when you got the Rumble ult, like Rumble puts his ult down like here, these guys are donezo. And you got to be a little bit cautious of Fizz TPing in, but honestly, you know you win the fight, why not just turn? So here we go. Thresh turns in, there's the Rumble ulti. Like chunking down the enemy team, picking them out, poking them as well. Here comes Redemption to help the poke from the blue team too. Don't let Lucian tank that. Nice. And there we go. So let's see what happens here. Just playing a little bit cautiously, turning in onto the Fizz. Playing it cautiously still though. Rakan jumps in, flashes in, gets a 4-man charm, comboed with the Galio ulti. Holy moly, what is this right here? What am I witnessing? But here he is, he's over the wall, he jumps in on the Fizz. Beautiful initiation there. Fizz is going to go down. Might be able to turn that in onto the Caitlyn as well. He might die, but it's Probably his best bet, trying to get as many kills as possible. Oh, he gets the Elise, jumps out into the bush and jumps back in again. Beautiful play. What the hell? That's why this guy's rank 1 and I'm sitting here in my knickers spectating him, wishing I could be anything like this guy. That was a disgustingly played team fight. I didn't even see that play. I'm not a Rengar player, mind you, right? So I give myself a bit of slack on that one, but holy moly. That was just so good. That was a really, really nice play. But again, he didn't use his ultimate until the fight had already broken out. A lot of people use their Rengar ultimates just to start fights and start plays, you know, to initiate. And you don't need to do it like that. Instead, he held on to it, jumped over the wall, boom. And now he's 8-5 and 14. Like, this is the part of the game where Rengar's really going to just kick off. He's got the GA now as well. So he can, like, you might see him adjust his playstyle slightly here to match the fact that he's got GA, so that, you know, because he won't just be instantly dying anymore, because in theory, I mean, he hasn't really done much of that. He inted a bit in the lane phase, but outside of that, he's been fine. You know, he won't be instantly dying here because he's got GA, so he might honestly be the one to initiate these plays now, because he is just so bloody, like, he won't die. Anyway, Baron Dance v3. Here we go, very fast Baron take yet again. Got to be careful because Elise is going to be jumping in here, but again, it's too low for them to pause the burst to kill Elise first. But that was like a 1400, it looked like a 1400 damage smite, but I think Rengar comboed his empowered Q with his smite or something like that. But still, here we go, pops the ultimate halfway through the fight again. Just going to try and get in on people, but this fight's just like, it's all ogre, basically. This fight is all ogre, as is the game, most likely. So we're going to fast forward this shit, because that's probably game, right? There it is, it's game. Beautiful stuff. This guy's team fighting was pretty impressive. He inted like a madman in the early game. But honestly, like, as cheesy as this is going to sound, right? As cheesy as this is going to sound, you know, that it's the mark of people who are good at solo queue. He didn't tilt. You know, he inted pretty bloody hard, and he didn't tilt out of it. He was useful, definitely a positive factor in the game, and you don't have to play perfectly to be a good League of Legends player. This guy didn't play perfectly, especially not in the early game. And just to, because I know you guys are going to say, well, this guy had Korean solo queue teammates, challenger Koreans on his team, so it doesn't matter if he feeds, they'll carry him. What about the 5 Korean challengers on the enemy team? Do they suddenly not count? It's all the same, guys. It's all the same. It's all relative. Anyway, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave me that cheeky thumbs up if you did. And you can subscribe to me for more League of Legends content. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a great day, and I will see you in a minute.